Yeah, hello and welcome to the Enterprise UK project costing demo. Okay, we're already in the menu. What I'd like to show you is first, obviously you've got new project, new timesheet, new issue stock to job, finding a project, finding timesheet entry. Let's start with setup. Okay, so we can produce a list of employees, okay, with their initials. We can make make up a particular project stages, and obviously those can be whatever you want them to be. I've set up some kind of simple ones here, like estimate ordered, in the workshop, complete or whatever. And we've very importantly we've got cost headings. Okay, so cost headings are the way that you break up the expense and budget in a job. So like I've got here, so if I just sort on lane labour, we've got normal time, time and a half, double time. For materials, just got materials, and obviously for other we've got accommodation, documentation, mileage and subsistence. But you can have whatever you want, however you kind of want to break up your job. And we have sort of three main headings, which is labour, materials or other, and you can put a default rate in if you want. Okay, so let's go and look at a job I've already created, okay, to give you an idea. Okay, so top of the form we've got project name, we've got the customer and the contact, we've got the status, so obviously I can put in progress or completed or cancelled or whatever. I can also link it to a quote, so there's an actual quote in the system. Yeah, I could link it directly to an actual quote if I wanted to. I can put in a projected sales value that I expect to kind of charge on this. If it was a fixed price job, obviously that'd be the price. The total costs are automatically accumulated, as you add costs or assign costs, and what it does is it applies this gross profit percentage, to that to sort of predict based on 20% margin. I should be at least selling it for that. Okay, we've got a project number, telephone number, start date, we've got stage, obviously those are the user definable stages. Okay, we've got a summary as well here of budgeted labour, other budget, a materials budget, a total budget, and then we've got actuals, which are taken from the actuals assigned to it. So we can see that obviously we're kind of under budget at the moment. We've got a description we can put on here, and this is where we kind of set up our budgeted costs. So in this labour, other materials tab, we pick all the labour cost headers that we want to have in here. We pick obviously in other those ones we want to see, the materials the ones we want to see. We also specify a quantity and a rate. So here what I've kind of specified that I expect to sort of incur 20 hours at 1.5 time. Usual rate for that is £15. I expect to do 10 hours at double time. Or you can get down to kind of like other, where it's just one time. So I think it's £1,000 for accommodation. I think it's £100 for documentation. 500 miles roughly at 45p a mile. So that kind of works out at that. Okay, it also shows the actual costs against it, so you can see a variance against individual cost headers, whereas the general tab just shows you kind of overall, the total cost for labour, against the budget for labour. But here you can actually see the breakdown of that budget and the actual. Okay, so actual costs. I've got some timesheets or miscellaneous costs that have been entered against it. Obviously I can see the employee, the timesheet number, document number, how many hours, let's say 10 hours at £20, £200, obviously that's the cost header. I can do all these nice things like group the header, I can do subtotals by it, adjust stock that I've either adjusted in or out against the job, purchase orders that are outstanding against the job. So I can see 3 of those at £130 each are on there. I can double click down to see the purchase order. I've got goods received, so what's moved from goods purchase orders to goods received, so it's not counting them twice. Obviously if I order 10 on a purchase order and have 5 delivered, obviously 5 will be in here, and the difference will be on the purchase order. Again, if they've been billed, then obviously they move from goods received to being billed. So I can see that I've had some bills in here specifically against this project as well. Okay, we've got notes. These are just literally, you can put as many notes as you want against the project. Got documents. These could be for like plans, diagrams, whatever. You can put them against the actual project. I've also got a planner, where we can do normal activities in CRM, yeah, and put those things, like obviously here I put like make a mold, make a prototype, test it, and then I can see a timeline, yeah, of those activities when I expect those activities to take place. I've also got GRNs in here, so you can see that these items have come in, yeah, and when they came in, and I've also got an outstanding purchase order, and that item's due at some point in the next 3 weeks, so I can sort of see, what's going on with the actual project. Okay, so let's just come out here for a sec and do a purchase order in supplier. So let's go new purchase order to a UK supplier. Okay, and let's add a couple of items on here. And if I go over to the right hand side, you can see that we've got 2 columns here called project number and cost header. So I can actually pick the project, yeah, and then I can pick the actual cost header it should go against. I'm just picking any, but obviously you would actually pick the one that you wanted. Then obviously the price is there. So as I save that, this is purchase order, purchase number 16. So if I go into my project again and go into actual costs and purchase orders, we should see now that we've got purchase order 16, yeah, in for these 2 amounts here. Okay, so let's move this purchase order on to goods received. Okay, so I've only got 1 here, but maybe I'd do 0 on that one. Yeah, nope. Okay, so I'll save that. Okay, let's go back into the project. Just need to move the tab again. Okay, so now you can see that I've only got 1 item line on the purchase order, and the goods received has basically got the other item line. Okay, so now let's say we receive a bill for that one particular item line. Yep. Okay, so you can see there it is. So I save and close that. I'll go back to my project, and then I'll see that this should actually be in the bill. There you go. So it should have gone from goods received now, which it has, and it's gone into bills. Okay, so obviously purchase orders, goods received, and bills, they all get assigned to the actual project cost. Okay, let's just kind of get rid of that and that. Okay, now let's go back into project costing, and we'll do some timesheet or miscellaneous cost entry. And this was designed so you don't have to put just timesheets into here. You can actually put any kind of cost, positive or negative. Okay, so let's pick the project, the date. Okay, let's say this is a bit of a timesheet, so I'll put it against Tony for double time. Okay, and I'll say you work 3 hours double time. It automatically put the rate in, which I can change. If I wanted to copy that line, I could, yeah, by just pressing F6, yeah, and obviously then I can change the actual employee. So let's say Manny, and let's say he worked 1, and it wasn't double time, it was for time and a half. Brilliant. Okay, so let's copy that again. It's easy to edit it. Let's say this was for documentation, okay, and it was 1 times 50 quid or whatever, and I can do the same thing again, but let's say it was a negative, so it's negative 100. Okay, so let's save and close that, and then go back to the project, and what we'll be able to see against actual costs, you can see now obviously there's all that timesheet cost that I put against it, but also there's that negative as well. It's a way of correcting, so if I put too much expense against it or too little, I can actually correct it. Alright, so now we can issue stock to a job if we wanted to. Let's issue a job stock out. Let's pick a couple of items. Let's just do 1. Okay, and let's do 2 of those. Pick my project. Cost header, I'll put it against materials. Now, this override column here, what's going to happen here is it's going to take 1 out of stock, put it against the job, yeah, at whatever the average or standard cost is for that item, but maybe I want to actually put a specific cost against it. So if I kind of put £30 in there, it'll go 1 times 30 instead of whatever the average is, but on the other one it'll put the average. So let's save and close on that and go back to my project, and go to stock adjustments, in and out. And what you can see here is there's the 2 at whatever the average or standard was, but there's that 1 at the £30 override that I did. So obviously on that item there, the actual standard or average cost, depending on what costing method I'm using, is £60. Okay, so what else have we got here? We've got a work in progress report. So this will actually list for each job. Obviously you'd pick a particular job. I'm just going to print them all, and what you can see here is the actual project itself and all the actual costs and expenses that have gone against the actual job. So it matches the work in progress figure. So I can see here 25,000 odd quid I think has gone against this job. Which job is this? That's project 1. Our project's number 2. Yeah. So I can see that £2,725 has gone against it. So when I look at the front of the project, hopefully it'll have the same amount of money. There you go, 2,725 quid. Okay, that is about it really. It's very simple to use. It will do the job, and it's a way of tracking, costs, whether it be timesheet costs, miscellaneous costs, purchase orders, just goods received, bills, against a job or project. Thanks very much for watching.